What's up, everybody? This is NealReal, and this is The Father You Didn't Have. Wisdom from an elder about relationships and happiness in life. Like, share, and subscribe. Now let's get right into this topic. For men, the 4 levels of sexual connection with women. These are relationships, types of relationships, and I'm going into depth about how to manage them. Last time I talked about the 6 sexual relationships with women. And what type of sexual relationship are you in is the question that I asked. In that, there were 2 at the beginning. One was called prostitution. The second one was called covert prostitution. I won't be talking about those here because those are pretty easily understood. You give the money in exchange for the sex and the time in some cases. That's it. But I'm going to be talking about the other 4 here because they need to be managed properly, else you can end up confusing each other and leading to a breakup or a misunderstanding because of your behavior. So this is for men because, as I said before, men are to lead the relationship. I have a whole video on why that's the case. No woman should be running or leading the relationship. There are 4 kinds of relationships that we're going to talk about today, and we're going to get right into them now. Let me list them and then I'll jump into each one individually. The first one is casual sex or the fuck buddy relationship. Number 2 is the sexual friendship. The friends with benefits is what some people call it. The committed relationship, where you have a girl and boyfriend title or something like that, where it's a priority. And then the marriage commitment, which is similar to the committed relationship before, but y'all live together. And there's a lot more at stake and, going on. So let's get right into these. The first one is the casual sexual relationship, the fuck buddy. This woman does not live with you. She comes over or you come over her house for sex. And that's all y'all do. In this relationship, you cannot be doing things that would look like you are her boyfriend. And you cannot allow her to do things that make her feel more comfortable staying longer or feeling like she's a girlfriend because she's hanging out at the house and all this kind of stuff. So this happens sometimes between men and women because of how they are. Some men are just very giving, and so they give a lot to the woman after sex and before sex, and then she starts to think, man, this guy really like me. I think I'm his girlfriend. When he don't see her like that, and then when he don't call her for 2 weeks because he's fucking with other women, she feels like she got used, or when we gonna go out again and all that kind of shit. And that's because he been treating her like a girlfriend, even though he sees her as a fuck buddy. And so once again, we gotta communicate with women. As a man, you gotta communicate, and you cannot do things outside of the frame of that relationship. All right. Otherwise, it's something else to her. Right. I mentioned that perhaps even letting a woman shower over your house after sex may not be a good idea, but I personally do that. But if you feel like that's going to make the woman think that there's more, then you shouldn't do that. I think there's common courtesy. If y'all was in a hotel and y'all had sex, she would obviously, use a shower. So if she's over your house, same thing. So I don't have a problem with that. But when you start to do long sessions of cuddling after sex and holding her, and then, hey, let's watch TV together. Hey, I'm gonna order a pizza once you stay over. And now it's more. She starts to feel like, well, you giving me more and I'm gonna want that treatment every time. And that's where you fuck up as a man, because you may not want to do that next time you have sex with her. Okay, get out of my bed. I'm done. I got to go to work or something. And she feel like you mistreating her. You being harsh with her. You see? So you cannot be wishy-washy when you're dealing with women. If it's just sex and y'all agree that this is a fuck buddy situation, y'all come together for sexual exploration and to please each other, do just that. All this lounging around the house, ordering food and hanging out, that's really a sexual friendship, or what you could be considered that going forward. And like I said, some women will look at that and think that she is now his girlfriend, and that she will then demand your time, and you're like, no, this ain't that, it ain't that, but you're treating her like that. So you got to be consistent in how you treat women when she is in this particular sexual relationship. All right. So here's another thing I need to mention, because long talks after sex, like giving her advice, emotional support. Give a bare minimum. I mean, it's human to do this, but to be having long conversations about her life and her day and all that kind of stuff, that's really reserved for a long-term relationship, a committed relationship, or a sexual friendship. So even that, it has to be on some, stop by, you have sex, kiss each other, walk her down to her car or whatever, and that's it. You got to limit all of that extra time with the woman. So I just want to mention that because it can be tempting to do that. Because here's the deal, I love the company of a woman. And I know a lot of men do too. And so even though it's a sexual relationship, it's just casual, you can end up doing that. And then now she thinking it's more than that. And now sometimes, like I said, you don't want to do that. And you're just like, all right, I'm done. You got to go. And she feel like, well, what happened to all the hanging around and stuff? I can't do that now. It's like, so, I just want to reiterate that when it comes to these sexual relationships, to make sure that you are consistent in treatment of the women that you're dealing with. All right, now, jumping to number 2, the sexual friendship, friends with benefits. This is where you can do the hanging out. Because y'all friends, y'all got other stuff that y'all have in common that build each other up. I talked about friendship and what it entailed. And so if this woman has shown attributes of friendship consistently throughout your interactions with her, then sure, she can be a friend and y'all can say that that's what we are and give her the rights to do certain things. And so here's some of the rights of a woman who is a friends with benefits or you're in a sexual friendship. Y'all are free to date each other on outsides. You can make a date to eat out and order in and just enjoy each other's company. That's your friend. Just like you would do with your homeboy. You do the same thing with her. You don't spend a lot of time though. You're not gonna have her, sleep over. That's one thing she can't do. She can't sleep over because that's what girlfriends are for. Girlfriends can sleep over, but y'all can have sex. You can cuddle for a bit. House movies, house parties. She's invited. Y'all may have sex up in the room and then come back down or whatever. You can give her advice here and there, just like you give your friends advice. You provide emotional support as well. Of course, there's admiration, there's affection. You feel like you belong with her and she belongs with you on a friendship level, but it's not deeply rooted in commitment and priority yet. You're just not there yet, right? And so what I mean by that is she can't call you up and demand that you do something with her because other things may be important and you're just not going to drop everything for her. She's not the priority, you see? And you got other friends, maybe other sexual friendships. And so whoever called you first and what you got scheduled, that's who you're going to roll with. You're not going to stop the scheduling for her, you see? But she's in there. She has a close connection with you, but y'all haven't made a commitment to support each other's needs and prioritize each other. That's the key word here is priority, all right? So she gets protection, obviously, when you're out and about with her. Protection and security, emotional support, all the stuff you do with your friend. And even in gifts and stuff. You give gifts to your friend, right? You wish them happy holidays and all that kind of stuff. Same with her. Did she get a Valentine's gift? Probably not, because there's no commitment and no priority set up for her yet. She hasn't shown over time that that's something that she should get. It's levels to these relationships, and give it time to show if this woman's consistent in her friendship, consistent in supporting you in your endeavors as a man. Once again, you run the relationship. You are creating something as a man. You're building something as a man, and the woman should come in and support that. If your friend is kind of flaky when it comes to what you're doing as a man, your project, your mission, she can't go further and become a girlfriend, because that's when you're committing to a woman and giving her priority over other relationships. So moving to the committed phase, this is when a woman is shown over time that she's consistent and she wants to be a part of your life in a closer way, in a deeper way. That's when you can say, okay, you can be my girlfriend, if you want to call it that. And this is when you make a commitment and you prioritize her above other relationships. All right. And of course, this could not go against your mission and plan and stuff like that, because it ain't about women. It's about you as a man. It's about what you're building. The woman has to flow with that. So she can't stop you from your mission just to be with her. That's not what I mean by priority. I'm saying that over all the relationships that you have, your male friends, your mama, your daddy, stuff like that, she gets a priority. She gets space. Now, she don't live with you. A girlfriend does not live with you. However, she's free to sleep over. So she has more time with you. She can sleep over. All the stuff you did with your friend, but more attention and time. You can meet the friends in the family. So you can go to that family picnic. You can do what you want because y'all have set up that y'all for each other. Throughout the duration of this committed relationship, y'all gonna be for each other. And it's okay to do these things here. I wouldn't give this woman a key to my house. I wouldn't move her in. Moving her in is a marriage. And so she does not live with you. However, she can sleep over at times and hang out. Now, the final sexual relationship and the level of connection with a woman is the marriage. And that's everything you did with the girlfriend plus her living with you. And this is time. So for these two latter relationships, I give about 1.5 years. So let's say you've been with a woman, she's become your friends with benefits, right? She moved away from fuck buddy, now she's a friend with benefits. You've been hanging out with her for 1.5 years now, and you've seen consistent support for your needs. You're able to help provide her needs as well, and y'all got a good thing going. She wants to be in a relationship with you and she want to be a part of your world, then you can give her that and say, okay, you can be my girlfriend now. But she cannot move on in and all that kind of stuff. You need to give it another 1.5 years, I would say. And why 1.5 years? Well, there's something called the honeymoon phase, where once you meet somebody that you really have compatibility with, it takes about 2 years for that to fade away. You can still maintain it afterward, but it falls off and all of that high you're on kind of goes away. And so by the first 1.5 years, it's still there, but you want to see if it's still there. If it's going to continue. So give it another 1.5 years. Like I said, always give enough time to see whether or not this person is authentic, they're consistent, and they're on the same page as you as a man. All right. So the more time you spend, the better. And if any time you come across things that are off, then you got to address those. And if they are something that's not going to change, then she has to stay at a certain level. Like some women can only be girlfriends. They cannot become a woman that lives in the house with you, because perhaps they like living a certain way. They don't agree with the way you live in your household and the way it's set up and the way it's designed. That means she got to stay outside the house and keep her own space. She may not be fully on board with your mission, or she may have limited skills that she's not able to really provide support for your mission. And so she may remain a girlfriend for that. And so going back to marriage, the final connection, the deepest connection is when she's living in your space at this point. Like I said, everything else is there from the girlfriend. It's just that she lives there now. And she may even have access to accounts. There might be a joint account. For men who don't legally marry women, there may be a severance package if y'all break up to support her temporarily until she finds somebody else or does something else with her life. But you're really together now at that point, and you've spent at least 3 years now vetting this woman and seeing if this works. And for some men it may take longer, but I would say no more than that, because if you keep dragging it out, you're really just saying she's just a girlfriend. If she became a girlfriend and you want her to become a wife, or she wants to become a wife, but every time you come across living with her long term, or let's say she stays over your house every now and then does something that bothers you, and you talk to her about it, but she doesn't change the behavior, she can't live with you. Or maybe there's something that you just don't agree with. Well, maybe let's say I talked about compatibility, I talked about family and how some families don't like the other person. And so if that's the case, she will always be a girlfriend, because if y'all merge together and live together and you have to deal with the family members, then that's the problem. Now you can work that out and say, well, we're going to have limited time with these people. If there's a way here's the deal. Some women are really, really stuck to their families. And where they go, their family goes, so it's up to you in her to figure that out. But you just got to look at this. There's levels to it. You don't have to discard women. They just stay at certain places and let them know, look, I can't have you living with me because whatever, reasons are. Be very upfront with her about behavior, attitude, or whatever. So those are the 4 levels. Religion taught me that all you need is a year to vet a woman. And frankly, that is just not enough. You need at least 3 before you marry a woman. At least 3. Some say 5. And I would say this, let's talk about marriage again. If a woman is pressing you for marriage and giving you ultimatums and saying you better give me a ring, I don't agree with the whole contract. I want a legal document stating this from the state, and that's not what you want to do. This woman is not compatible. Simple as that. Because once again, what is this relationship? Who's running this shit? You are. You are the leader of the relationship. You dictate the rules and how this is going to go down. If you are never legally marry a woman under the state, that's your thing. She ought to respect that. If she really likes you and wants to be around you and has great affection for you and admiration, then she'll be with that. There's nothing wrong with being a girlfriend. There's nothing wrong with being a woman that is living with a man without a legal document. What's important is the commitment that y'all made to each other. And if you are with a man that's going to keep his word when it comes to a severance package, if that goes down where y'all have to split up. And I'll talk about that in other videos, but everything is not going to last. People change directions in life. People, they start off compatible and then they end up not. Not that something was wrong, that the man didn't vet properly or that the woman didn't vet properly. People change over time and then they no longer compatible. And so if y'all grow apart and change and become different people, then y'all can't be together. So there needs to be support for the woman if she has no longer generated income for herself outside the relationship. She instead is being solely taken care of by you. Then to end the relationship and leave her out there without any money and support is downright evil. You lack empathy and compassion to do something like that as a man. And unfortunately, that's what some men were doing back in the day before the marriage laws were changed to support the woman. They were just getting rid of her around 40 years old and leaving her out there. And she had to either go back to her parents' house if they were still alive. And this is a 40-year-old woman at this point with the kids in some cases. And just, that's foul. You need to take care of your woman for a season because she was working directly for you and with you. Right? She didn't have her own income. You see? So that's something you got to work out with your woman. If y'all don't have a marriage contract, if you do got a marriage contract with the state will tell you how to break up and you got to go to court and you may have to need lawyers and all this other bullshit. And it's funny because who are these strangers going to tell you about your relationship? What to do with your assets? That's why I don't agree with that. I think that's stupid. And I did it myself and I was lucky to get out of it. I paid $300 to get out of my marriage. It happened and it got done. But, for other people, it can be worse if you did it under the state. So you got to know the laws where you live, because some relationships, even if you stand with the woman without paperwork, they will still claim it as a marriage. And then there's severance pay demanded by the state to her. And of course, with children, you're going to have to pay child support. You got to think about this stuff, but it's all about communication. And these are just some ways to manage these relationships. So hopefully that's helpful. It's very exhaustive, as far as what I can tell you. It's really boiling down to you as a man. You configure the relationship in a way that is fair to her and to you, and it supports your mission, and let women who fit inside of those boundaries come in. Women who don't fit in, who want to change stuff and push you off your square and make you do stuff that the way they want to do it, that's not a good relationship. You will not be happy if you submit to her. She will not be happy because you're not happy. Okay? And she won't respect you because you're easily pushed around. She wants a man that's strong and stands on this square. So you need to always be like, this is what I know that I'm going to be doing. These are the boundaries. These are the rules. Don't let no woman change that. All right, that's all I got for you today. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for listening to the end. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can email me at neal@nealreal.com. You can also go to my website, nealreal.com. I encourage you to check out nealreal.com. That's NealReal.com. Or you can email me at neal@nealreal.com. Have a blessed day.